Which one we gotta get smaller tablet or you gotta get paracetamol.
You know what this is, Chris? This is like you shifting the camera in the morning. What we used to do. Just move that.
Genie, you have to tell Chris, put your hands down, don't touch anything.
No.
Make up all the mind what they want. All they want me
I don't know
to touch it.
I don't know if you saw this story on A&N titled "When Power Turns Against the People." I just gotta read a bit of it. Around the world, history shows us the dangers of government that hold on to power for 25, 30, even 40 years. In Equatorial Guinea, Theodore Obiang has ruled since 1979. His family rich while his people remain poor. In Uganda, Museveni has sat in office since 1986, promising change but delivering only more of the same. In North Korea, a single family has ruled for 3 generations, turning a nation into a prison. In Cuba, Fidel Castro held on for nearly 50 years, locking the people in poverty. In Russia, Vladimir Putin's endless reign has meant repression, corruption, and war. What do all these have in common? These are dictatorships and communist regimes. Long tenures of 25, 30, or 40 years are not the mark of a healthy democracy. They are the mark of systems where power is hoarded, accountability destroyed, and people silenced.
Let me answer something.
You agree with that?
Let me go back with the last 3 things you said a while ago.
I think
It says these are marks of systems where power is hoarded.
Stop right there. When we look around, what do you see?
Accountability destroyed.
Stick right there. We've been promised that for how long?
And people silenced.
Stick right there. When I see protests and these things and blah, 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 and the people who speak of what becomes of them. So what part of that we guessing?
Is there some legitimacy in that?
Yeah.
What part of that we guessing?
I think what happens when...
Has power been hoarded?
Oh, for sure.
We still asking
a very few number of people make all the decisions.
Yeah, and not just that. It's the placing of your
acolytes and your cronies and your family
in the decision-making positions, right? So there's no longer anybody. It's like how the states is set up where are
checks and balances.
Right, there's no checks and balances. If I send something to planning or to to any department or almost any department, it's almost like
it's a done deal.
It's a done deal.
You don't ask.
And everybody knows that.
Yeah. So you know what it is.
Yeah.
So what part of that we having a problem?
Almost like if it doesn't happen, it'll be more of a shock.
Okay. Accountability destroyed.
Never made it to the party.
Really?
Not just destroyed, it just never made it.
It never even catch the taxi.
Is there any accountability?
No.
There's
where?
There isn't much.
I think the fact that we have elections every 5 years is probably our...
Yeah, that's the last thing we got to get rid of.
And then we go. Then we are right. Then we have a normally run society.
But even accountability in elections, right? The failed bid by the NDP to challenge, right? It did highlight a number of weaknesses, and clearly is not as transparent and as independent as perhaps we would like. Ultimately, reports to the Prime Minister's office. This is the supervisor of elections.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Okay.
And why should that be so?
We've seen use of government funds, particularly in the lead up to elections. That's become
prevalent.
That's become almost standard, right?
Yeah.
Right. So we use government resources to try and
sway people.
Accountability. Does any facet of government have real accountability? Like, is there anything the PM does which, like, when I'm trying to think what areas where he would be held to account.
Listen, man.
There are many.
The PM has given you an example of lack of accountability, and it probably falls on the opposition as well. When he said that the opposition fails in its keeping of the public accounts committee or whatever it is, that's almost saying as well that, well, we ain't been checked,
and we like it. So
hey, it's their fault, but we not being checked.
You ain't checking me, so I complain.
You ain't checking me.
You ain't checking me.
So, but even that body, it doesn't really have any real teeth.
Yeah, there's no budget to talk about.
There's nothing that could actually pull you up on. You know what I mean? could criticize, it could question.
I think the way the auditing also works, where basically you get an auditing report from 3 years ago, is
laughable.
Yeah.
And people silence. Well, I 100% agree on this point. I'm always shocked at the number of people who look around when you're talking to them, particularly when you're talking about politics.
Mm-hmm. Make sure who's listening.
Yeah.
And not even that. Sometimes, you meet them in the conversation, they're talking,
loud.
and you just see two, let me say, familiar faces go, and
or you see or you hear people in private say stuff.
but when you're out in the open,
and when you ask, like in a more public forum,
you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? That's clearly a sign that that people have been silenced to a degree.
Yeah.
People are self-censoring.
Why are people so afraid?
You see it in so many ways, right? If you wanted morning.
Luke convinced you don't want no form of accountability. When the Prime Minister held himself accountable and said he gave the woman a reassuring kiss, we left him as Prime Minister. We don't want that.
Right. You know what's another telltale sign of it as well? You start off saying something. Maybe say you start off being opinionated. You have views on all things. Either side of the coin, I have views on it. And then all of a sudden you switch up on me. You just make a serious about turn. And all of a sudden now.
It's a family matter.
All of a sudden now. You're going on. But I'm just showing you that and all is evident of it.
He goes on and says, what do we see instead in some instances? Decay, corruption, roads falling apart, schools and hospitals neglected, young people migrating for opportunities that should be found at home, lawlessness spreading. All right, I will say, right, I think there's this kind of propaganda that we all get sucked into, right? So the government keeps saying education revolution. I always wonder why the NDP don't challenge them on it. They say education revolution, right? Blah, 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 right? But in the same breath, girls' high school can't get rebuilt 5 years later.
The one right next to
school
it, Thomas Saunders,
and it has to close for termites. Thomas Saunders,
but that
closed.
closed.
Given up.
Another school had a close, had running. What thing with the water? Did he tell us?
You see the water coming in, right? You see so many images and pictures of schools basically in decay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear the opposition. Then you hear the government finance ministers tell you we lack the skills required. So what exactly has your education system been producing then?
Oh, stick a pin right there, man. Morning. Yeah, right
So,
there.
it's almost like, I find it almost like, if you understand the term Orwellian, where what they say is almost the opposite of what they do. So, education revolution, the school's crumbling. Mm-hmm. Education revolution, but we don't have the skills required for what we need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? So what? You know what I mean?
We're really trying to get me to believe.
Where is the revolution?
Yeah. Where you want me to believe? Morning.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
How long the airport was under construction?
9 years?
What's that?
How long was the airport under construction?
Yeah, about 9 years.
What, 9 years?
About 9 years.
So very long it up to 10 years because that a couple of years before it actually started.
We had ample time to prepare.
So you had 10 years to have locals having hands-on training and know exactly where the pipes run and everything, that they could have been repairing and doing everything. But this is the proof where the majority of the people who were foreigners and not locals.
Yeah. And then I saw
they cannot find the locals to do the work because there's not enough locals with party card.
I saw a really interesting article where, I don't know if you saw it, where a team has come from Cuba to set up training processes
At the AIA.
for AIA.
7 years on.
I'm like,
8
what?
years on.
Like we haven't just opened. We're well into this thing now. Right?
Oh, so you might think.
Right? We didn't train anybody prior to the airport opening.
Maybe it's a refresher.
Yeah.
Morning, Fufu, Luke. Special morning, Jagger. How are you?
Morning.
Special
Special
morning to
morning.
you,
Look, what
Ravi.
kind of special morning, Jagger?
Special
Think is that? Where's that one,
morning.
boy?
Special morning, Laverne.
Special morning, Jagger.
You know, one of the things that I always want people to consider is this. When you look at the Unity Labour Party, and they have a little way in which they love to talk about who wants power, this and that. You have a prime minister who has been at the head of the party for 20 odd years, and not even his son, his own flesh and blood, he trusts to take over or to lead the party. Doesn't that spell power hungry to the ultimate supreme that you could ever find in St. Vincent and the Grenadines? Like, you have a guy, and I'm looking at it not to make fun of him, right? But I'm looking at a clip yesterday where he goes to Nutrition, tries to pass a ball and almost fall over for doing that. You're 79, right? You don't have enough strength to pass a ball, and you still want to hold on. That is power hungry. Something is fundamentally wrong with the leader of the Unity Labour Party, and nobody cannot tell me that is power hungry. And what we must ask ourselves is, why he have to hold on till his death that not even his son could take over from him? What he don't want us to find out?
Lavi, just 5 more years, man.
No, we win in the next couple of weeks. Get ready, guys. Let me tell you something. In a few more weeks, St. Vincent and Grenadines is going to have a new government. So whatever they're hiding...
A few more weeks.
Yeah, man. Few more weeks.
You know,
be sure, whatever it is that they're hiding, be sure it's going to come to light, because the New Democratic Party is going to form government soon.
All right, yeah, a few more weeks. Elections is when? Or supposed to be when?
Lavi knows something we don't know.
Lavi? That way get Jagger a special morning there.
What was the criticism of the netball?
Man's 79 and he can't hold up.
There's a video with it.
Block a ball.
You could show the video and you will probably decide for yourself.
And he was doing like one of them no-look passes and running away, man.
I think he's very good at playing the game. And I don't mean netball.
Man, no. My thing is, you can be how good at playing the game. But at some point, you have to realize
it's not a game.
But do you think people are saying like 30 years it would be too much?
Nah. I think people are looking forward to the 30 years. Morning.
You know, Cole,
Hey.
the finance minister talk utter rubbish. I am a product of NDP. From primary school, I was doing woodwork, carpentry, lock lane, seamstress, cooking, and in my early 20s, I had the opportunity to do hairdressing. The younger generation now is just computer, phone, computer, phone. If you don't bring that back, this generation is lost. So the NDP have skilled, trained people to do. Vincent can work, Give us the opportunity and you'll see.
All right. I see, but when it comes to hair, I see Comrade doing hair. Comrade, and we're a professional too.
I think a lot of, and maybe Camilla highlighted this, I think a lot of the education that's been given, that's been awarded, particularly the tertiary education, I don't think it really amounts to a skill. So you could go and do a marketing degree, you could go and do a business studies degree, you could go, but what does it really give you at the end of it?
Probably
as opposed to a welding or a hotel management or a, you know what I mean?
Morning.
Like defined skills.
Good morning, gentlemen. How you all doing?
Not too bad at all.
All right, but no, I usually say good morning to the panel. Okay, when you say you have to bring in Cubans to run the airport, it means that the
train, not to run.
Train, yeah. That's another guys as well too, because I mean they had a few Bajans around here training them. They could at least get 1 or 2 paid Bajans that will train everybody. Okay, but that is a failure of the education revolution. Where is the trained specialists and individuals that we keep sending out there? Where are they? They're actually leaving. Everybody knows that, and they've been leaving since I've been back and forth from home since 2001. So they need a solution to fix these little areas here, because going out and saying that, okay, then we don't have skilled people, I think that's way off, bro. Because when you find a carpenter in St. Vincent, he could do masonry too. He could do plumbing too, and all of those things. So, gentlemen, that is my 2 cents for today, yeah?
All right, buddy. And he's right. He's quite right.
I think the government has overly focused on this like degrees, right? As opposed to
The actual skill.
like actual kind of skills,
Yeah,
actual
the
kind
actual
of
skill,
like
yeah.
defined
Yeah.
skill. I can
Yeah.
actually at the end of it,
Yeah.
I know how to do something that other people don't know how to do.
Yeah.
Right?
And I also think with that,
These kind of degrees where
Yeah.
they're too general.
and I think with that too, that is that they have the locals as like you can't do nothing. And the only
Yeah.
set of people who could do certain things.
What's wrong with saying, look, we're only going to give a scholarship for these areas, or we're only going to help fund education in these areas because these are the areas that we identify we need, right? So we need airport specialists, right? So send them on a course. It doesn't have to be a degree course. Send them on a course where they're going to go and learn how to actually, the skills to run an airport, skills to run a hospital, not just doctors and nurses, but the actual admin skills of construction skills, welding skills. You know what I mean? These are things that you need. Joinery. You know what I mean? Plumbing.
Because fabrication works and all them.
Yeah,
things,
Sometimes even the hospitality that we're learning, it's
too general. It's too general. It's not.
But anyhow,
And I think it is, and Camilo is essentially admitting that we haven't prepared ourselves for this.
Yeah, better he than we. That'll be more like 2 weeks again. So we're going to do some commercials and we're coming back.
Flow customers, you've been with us. You've stayed connected. And now, loyalty pays.